Uh, yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Going for Two. We are back. We are back today with a preview of the College Football Playoff Quarterfinals games. We have 4 matchups. I'm going to talk about every single one of those 4 matchups, give my predictions, give my thoughts on how those games could be going. But before that, make sure to subscribe button, man. We have a goal of hitting 400 subs by the end of January. I know I cannot get that done without the help from you all, so please hit the subscribe button, man, and make sure you like, comment, and share with your folks. Now let's get right into it. Okay, so the first game we got, y'all, we got Ohio State versus Miami. Now, Miami, to me, I don't know about y'all, but they shocked me. I did not think they were gonna get out of College Station, Kyle Field, against Texas A&M in the first round, but they did it. And they did it with a stellar performance on defense and making timely plays on the offensive end, including a 56-yard run from Mark Fletcher and the big-time touchdown grab from Malachi Toney. If they're going to win this game tomorrow, they're going to need even more big plays made by the defense and by those playmakers on offense, because they're playing up against a better defensive front, better defensive unit in Ohio State, man. And I know Ohio State, ever since their last loss against Indiana, I know they've been chomping at the bit to get back on the field, similar to how they were last year when they lost to Michigan in the season finale. I think Ohio State has kind of gotten, people are kind of underrating them. Ohio State's still a really good football team. And they lost by 3 points to the number 1 team in the nation because their kicker missed a 27-yard kick. Ohio State, this is a very nasty group. A very really good group. You still got Julian Sayin along with Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. You still got the running backs, Bo Jackson and the crew. On defense, you got all those guys led by Caleb Downs. Might be the best defensive player in the country, maybe. I think Ohio State, man, this is a game where they get back right. I think with Miami, I do believe Miami's defense can keep them in the game. But if it comes down to having to make plays, I don't think they do it, bro. I don't think they're going to be able to pull out the stops to move the ball efficiently and effectively against this Ohio State defense, y'all. I just don't see it. Carson Beck barely threw for over 100 yards last week. He's going to have to be spectacular for them to win this game, in my opinion. They're going to make play after play after play, and I think their defense as well is going to force turnovers, give them good field position, and different things like that to give their offense a chance. But as much as I'm saying Ohio State should win this ball game, and that's my pick, I do pick Ohio State to win the game, I'm not going to discredit that Miami has a shot. They got a puncher's chance. But it's going to come down to those hidden plays, man, those hidden plays, those turnovers, those kick returns, those punt returns, those penalties, those different plays that do not come up on the stat sheet, those different plays that are overlooked on the highlight reel to set them up to put points up on the board. But I think Ohio State wins. I think Ohio State, like I said, man, I think this is a team that is chomping at the bit to get back on that field. And I don't think they're going to lose to anybody that they would have faced between A&M and Miami. I just don't think that would have been the case. So I got Ohio State. I think it'll be a pretty low-scoring game. Pretty low-scoring game, though. Both of these two defenses are going to have really good games. I think it's going to come down to who can make the good plays, who can make the big plays, man. But I got Ohio State taking care of business. The next game we have Texas Tech versus Oregon. Now, this to me is the most interesting game of the 4 games in the quarterfinals. Because you sitting here looking at Texas Tech like, okay, are they really that good? All their wins have been blowout wins. They have one loss to Arizona State, 26-22. They won the Big 12. Is Texas Tech really that good? And I think this is a game where we're going to see if they are that good. Because if you look at the stats, according to the stats, Texas Tech is the best defense in the country statistically. But when you watch it, when you look at that and you think, okay, they're the best defense, but who they played? They got a bunch of Big 12 games, I'm sorry. They don't have no real out-of-conference game. They beat Oregon State, but who's Oregon State? You look at, they're number one in terms of rush defense. They're really good at stopping you on third down. They make you one-dimensional because they're really good on rush defense, as I just said, man. So I think with Oregon, with Texas Tech, you have to look at them and you got to watch the games. And you got to say, okay, do my eyes deceive me? You got to do the eye test with them because they don't got the strength of schedule. They haven't played against the most talented teams in the country. So there's a shot that this Oregon team, who's I want to say top 15 in terms of rushing yards per game, coming into this matchup against the best run defense in the country statistically wise, this may be the best run game that they faced all year long. Even in their loss to Arizona State, they didn't give up the run. The most rush yards that they given up all year long was Kansas State, and they ran for like 120. You know what I'm saying? So the question is, do you believe in this Texas Tech defense? Do you believe in it? Because if this defense is really, really good, the way it's supposed to be, the way is promoted to be, then Texas Tech could probably win this ball game. But if not, if Oregon can run that ball and move the ball and be effective on third down, if they can take care of the football, then Oregon's gonna win this ball game. This one was probably the hardest one to pick. This game and the Alabama-Indiana game were the two hardest games to pick for me. But I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Because I think defense does travel. And I look at the guys on Texas Tech. I think this team is very, very talented on that defensive end. I think they're going to find ways to get stops and get off the field. And I think they're going to win the game. I don't think they're going to shut down the run the way they've done all season long because, like I said, this likely is the best offense they face all year long. But I do believe that this defense is for real, and I think they get the job done, and I think their offense does enough as well. They're going to put points up on the board as well against this Oregon defense. I believe that to be a fact. So I got Texas Tech advancing to the semifinals, man. I think that's what happens. Now, I watched my guy, Sports Den. One of my guys, we went to school together. I watched his thoughts and his breaking down of the game and stuff. And he said one thing that struck out to me. Whoever loses this game is done for. If Oregon loses to Texas Tech, people are going to look at Oregon like they're regular season merchants. If Texas Tech loses this game, people are going to say the Big 12 is just fraudulent. We're never going to take the Big 12 serious again. So this is a very big game for those two programs, in my opinion, because not only is this a college football playoff game, but this is a game that is going to shape how they're viewed moving forward. But I got Texas Tech winning, man. I think the defense is legit. Alabama versus Indiana in the Rose Bowl. This is going to be a very good game. The weather is going to be very, very bad. They're expecting a lot of rain at the Rose Bowl on Thursday, man. And to be honest, I think you would think that would play a big part. But I don't know. Because the thing about Alabama is Alabama couldn't run the ball in fair weather. They couldn't run the ball in the most perfect weather they were not going to be able to run the ball against Indiana. But now that it's raining and it's like, okay, well, we're basically in the same position that we've been in all year long. We got to throw the ball 1,000 times. And I think it's going to come down to Alabama's passing game. Can Ty Simpson have a good game? Can he connect with the Isaiah Hortons, the Ryan Williams, the Jeremy Bernards of the world of the team? Can they have an efficient and effective ball game? Because if they can, they're going to win this game. But I look at Alabama, the last month for them has been it's had a lot of turbulence. They got the loss to Oklahoma, the FCS win, the close win to Auburn, the blowout loss to UGA in the SEC championship, and then coming out and having a good win against Oklahoma in the last round. But I'll say this, looking at that first quarter, really majority of the first half against Oklahoma, it looked like they were dead to rights. It took a major play by special teams to block that punt that changed the ball game for them. And I tell you this, as good as Oklahoma's defense is, and I believe they got one of the best defenses in the country, You got another really good defense in Indiana you finna go up against. And the thing too about Oklahoma is that their offense was very poor. Not that good. This Indiana offense is all right. Way better than the Oklahoma offense. So the thing about Alabama to me is like if they're at their best, they can beat anyone in the country. I believe that if they're at their best, they can beat anyone in the country. But the problem is we ain't seen them at their best for a good minute. For a good minute, we ain't seen them at their best. So, are we going to see it on Thursday against the best team in the country? Why did I put the air quotes? Against the best team in the country. I don't know. Indiana's a team that dominates third downs on the defensive and offensive end. If they can do that, keep the chains moving on offense, shut down drives on defense, they're going to win this ball game. I just said this was the toughest game, or this and the last game were the two toughest games to predict. But I'm going to go with Indiana. I ain't seen Indiana lose. I ain't seen nobody have what it takes to beat Indiana. And I will say this. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest believer in Ty Simpson having the biggest game of his season. I'm not sure if I'm a believer in that. Ryan Williams has struggled over the last couple of weeks. He's going to need him to be on one. We just ain't seen it. So I'm going to go with Indiana to win this ball game, man. It should be a good one. Might likely be the best game of the first round. We'll see how it goes. But I got Indiana in the Rose Bowl. And that takes me to my last game. I got my dogs, my UGA, my Georgia Bulldogs going up against Ole Miss in a rematch of a matchup earlier from this season where Georgia took home an 8-point victory, 43-35 victory. I think the coaching is going to make the biggest difference. Because the talent for Ole Miss is still there. They still got all the talent. But the coaching, you got a Pete Golden as your head coach. I don't think he's going to outcoach Kirby Smart, man. I think Kirby Smart and the way the Dogs have been playing over the last month, they're the hottest team in football. They're playing their best football right now. And I think what they're going to do is I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close throughout the game. But that fourth quarter is when the Dogs pull away as they've done all season long. You know? I look at Ole Miss. I say Ole Miss made UGA's offense have to be perfect. UGA's offense had to be perfect in that second half to win that ball game. I don't think they're going to make UGA be perfect in this ball game this year. Georgia's defense has heavily improved ever since that last matchup. They look really good. Glenn Schumacher, I hope that's his name. I might have butchered his name. Glenn Schumacher and Kirby Smart have got these guys dialed in, man. They're dialed in and locked in, bro. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Georgia pulls away in the fourth quarter. But I will say, Trinidad Champions, this guy's special. And if anybody can find a way to pull something off, it'll be Trinidad Champions along with Kejuan Lacey. But I got Georgia winning this ball game, man. I think Georgia, I think the coaching is going to be the biggest difference in this game, the coaching. I don't believe in Pete Golden in his second game as head coach is going to coach well enough to beat Georgia. Not to mention the turnover battle. Ole Miss turns the ball over. They've lost turnover battle over the course of the season. And if you lose turnover battle against Georgia in the playoffs, you're not going to win this game. So I got Georgia winning this game. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the playoffs, man. Your thoughts on these matchups. Or your thoughts on my predictions. Put in the comment section who you got winning. Who you got going all the way. Let me know. But like, comment, subscribe, share with y'all folks. Until next time, I'm going for two. We out of here. Yeah.